Welcome to online study on Indian Penal Code. Yesterday we had discussed the provisions of section 34 of the IPC, which says that is a vicarious liability. This is section recognizes the principle of vicarious liability. Why vicarious liability? For the act of another, one person, a person does a particular act, for that the other person is also liable. That is vicarious liability. This rule is there in the law of tort. You are aware, it is vicarious liability. Suppose for the act of agent, the principal is liable. For the act of child, the parents are liable. That is master servant. For the act of the servant, the master is liable. So here, that is vicarious liability we find in the law of torts. But here, in the Indian Penal Code, such a provision has been made in section 34. 34 is not a substantive law. It is not an offense, but by applying 34 of the Indian Penal Code, for the act of one person, the other person is made liable. What it says? When a criminal act, first, that is an act is criminal. What is criminal act? That a criminal act means act which is punishable under criminal law. That will be called criminal act. When a criminal act is done by several persons in furtherance of the common intention of all. Furtherance means in advancement. That is in advancement of the common intention. That is all. Then each of such persons, each of such several persons liable for that act in the same manner as if it were done by him alone. Here in this case, Babu, several persons. Then in furtherance of common intention. So even if a person has not actively taken part in the commission of that act, in committing an act, but that act was done by several. For this, to attract these provisions, there must be a first, you should know, there must be a prior meeting of mind to commit an offense. Prior meeting of mind by persons more than one, two or more persons, they have, there is a prior meeting of mind, they have made a plan, so to commit an offense. So in such case, they jointly took part in the commission of that offense. So in such case, each of such person, what is liable for that act in the same manner as if it were done by him alone. So it is very difficult to prove what is common intention. How common intention of the persons who committed, several persons who commit an offense, that is no direct evidence is available. Because common intention, somebody is mind. How evidence will be given to prove? Very rare. Suppose somebody, unless there is a discussion, there is a prior this conspiracy, such a common intention cannot be proved. But such common intention is to be inferred in the manner in which the crime was committed. How a person took part in the committing that offense. And he also did previous conduct, subsequent conduct. That also proves the common intention. What it says? Sharing a common intention upon being present at the place of occurrence. There must be a common intention. Somebody must be remain present. Suppose two or four persons they want to just beat somebody or to commit an offense. And if a person has gone with those persons, other persons, and he was present at a distance, that and the other persons actually committed the act, did the act, which amounts to an offense. So in such case, the other person cannot take that plea that he is not liable as he did not actively take part in committing that offense. So that it must be a criminal act that is committed by several persons, that is done by, that was committed in furtherance of common intention of all, then each of those several persons will be equally liable. Is in the same manner, for others he will be liable for the, as if he has himself done that act. He has, as himself he did that act. So that is section 34. Now section 35 is, it is also sometimes, it is also creates confusion. When effect caused partly by act, and that is when such an act is criminal by reason of its being done with a criminal knowledge or intention. That is when such act means that criminal act which was caused by several persons. That is, whenever an act which is criminal, only by reason of it being done with a criminal knowledge, an act will be treated as criminal. Whenever it is done with a criminal intention, it is done with a criminal knowledge or intention, then it is done by several persons. An act will become criminal when that is done with a criminal intention, or with it, that is not with a knowledge that it is a criminal knowledge, then only that will be treated as a criminal act. That act is done by several persons. Then each of such persons who joins in the act, with such knowledge or intention, is liable for the act in the same manner as if the act were done by him alone with that knowledge or intention. Suppose, take for an example, A and B, they entered into the house of C with an intention to commit theft. They have a common intention, they went there to commit theft. But B caused the murder. B killed C. So here A and B had no common intention to that cause death of C. Here B's intention, when that act is criminal, when it is done with an intention of causing death of somebody, that is B's intention to cause that death. So here A had no intention. So in such case, A will be liable for theft and B will be liable for murder. This is the section. They join. Criminal, an act is criminal when that is done with a criminal knowledge or with a criminal intention. Then whoever joins in that act is done by several persons. And whoever joins that act with that criminal knowledge or intention, he is liable for that act. So that's why, but the other person will not be liable because when he joins there without that criminal knowledge or criminal intention. What it says? Whenever an act which is criminal, only is very important, only by reason of its being done with a criminal knowledge or intention. An act is criminal when only it is done with a criminal knowledge or criminal intention, and that act is done by several persons. Then each of such person who joins in the act with such knowledge or intention, each of such person who joins in committing that act with such knowledge or intention is liable for the act in the same manner as if the act were done by him alone with that knowledge or intention. Whoever joins in that act with that criminal intention or with that knowledge, he is liable for that. But the other person will not. But though that act is a criminal, that criminal act, but it is a criminal act because 34 says in furtherance of common. When a criminal act is done by several persons, in furtherance of common intention of all, then each of such person will be equal liable for committing the particular offense. But here section 35 says, when such an act becomes criminal, only when it is done with an intention, criminal intention, or with criminal knowledge, and that is done by several persons, each of such person who joins in committing that act with such criminal knowledge or such criminal intention, then he is liable for the act alone. the other person will not be able. The other person who do not join in committing that act with such criminal intention or criminal knowledge, so in such case he will not be made liable. This is section 35. Effect caused 36, effect caused partly by act and partly by omission. Effect, some effect. An act has an effect. Always an act. Suppose somebody stabbed another person. The effect is he died. So here effect caused partly by act and partly by omission. What is that? Wherever the causing of a certain effect or an attempt to cause that effect, whenever the causing of certain act, certain effect, wherever the causing of certain effect by an act, there will be an effect. Wherever the causing of certain effect or an attempt to cause that effect, or there is an attempt to cause that effect by an act or by an omission is an offense. So whenever the effect of an act is an offense or omission, the effect of omission is an offense, or the any act is attempt to cause that effect is an offense. It is to be understood that the causing of that effect partly by an act and partly by omission is the same offense. When that effect is caused partly by act and partly by omission, so that is to be treated as same offense. What it says? Section 36, you see, wherever the causing of a certain effect, some effect takes place because of an act or attempt to cause that effect, or there is an attempt to cause that effect, attempt to cause that effect by doing an act, or by an act or by an omission is an offense. So, by an act, that is causing that effect by an act or causing that attempt to cause that effect by omission or act is an offense. It is to be understood that the causing of that effect partly by an act or partly by omission is the same offense. That is illustration, if we will go through it. A intentionally causes Z's death, partly by illegal omitting to give Z food and partly beating Z. So here, that is causing, that is beating is a partly by act and partly illegally omitting to give food, that is an omission. So yes, that is partly and omission is the same offense. Effect is caused partly by act and partly by omission. So that will be treated as one offense. So A intentionally causes Z's death, partly by illegally omitting to give Z food, and partly beating Z, he has committed murder. Now section 37, cooperation by doing one of several acts constituting an offense. When an offense is committed by means of several acts, there are several acts, thereby an offense, and some effects take place, and that is an offense. Whoever intentionally cooperates in the commission of that offense by several acts, that the offense is committed. Whoever intentionally is very important, intentionally cooperates in the commission of that offense by doing any one of those acts, any one of those several acts, intentionally, but cooperates. Whoever intentionally cooperates in the commission of that offense by doing any of these several acts, either singly or jointly with any other person, commits that offense. So, as because he cooperates, whoever cooperates, what in committing an offense, that is a whenever an offense is committed, partly by doing an act and partly by omission, whoever intentionally cooperates in the commission of that offense, whoever intentionally cooperates in committing that offense by doing any one of those acts, by those any one of those several acts, either singly or jointly with other persons, commit that offense. What is illustration? A and B agreed to murder Z. A and B, they agreed to commit murder of Z by severally. By severally means what? Individually. And at different times giving small doses of poison. They agreed. They agreed that to commit Z's death by severally, each of them will give small doses of poison. Small doses of poison. A and B administer the poison according to the agreement. According to the agreement, A administered small doses of poison, B administered some small doses of poison with intent to murder Z. With intent to murder Z, what happens here? So Z dies from the effect of the several doses of poison. Because of several doses of small quantity of poison, that Z dies. Here A and B intentionally cooperate. Here A and B intentionally cooperate in commission of murder and as such. And as such, each of them does an act by which the death is caused. They are both guilty of the offense, though their acts are separate. Intentionally cooperating. That is section 37. Another illustration, A and B are joint jailers. Sometimes this question comes in a problem manner, problem question put. A and B are joint jailers and as such have the charge of Z, jointly in charge of Z. A prisoner alternately for 6 hours at a time. Each of such jailer was in charge of the jail of the prisoner, Z was a prisoner alternately for 6 hours. A and B intending to cause Z's death knowingly cooperate causing that effect by illegally omitting each during the time of his attendance to furnish Z with food supplied to them for that purpose. Each of them cooperated and omitted to give food to Z during his work, during each of those jailers' working hours. Z dies of hunger. Both A and B are guilty of the murder to Z. A jailer has the charge of Z, a prisoner. A intending to cause Z death illegally omits to supply Z with food, in consequence of which Z is much reduced in strength. But the starvation is not sufficient to cause his death. So, death, A is dismissed from service. Starvation was not sufficient. A intended to cause death, Z's death, and omitted to supply Z with proper food, and thereby his health was reduced to a great extent. A is therefore was dismissed from service, from his office, and B succeeded him. B without collusion or cooperation. There was no collusion, no meeting between B and A, or without cooperation with A. Illegally omits to supply Z with food, knowing that he is likely thereby to cause death. He also omitted to supply food to Z, knowing that he is likely thereby to cause death. Z dies of hunger. B is guilty of murder, but as A did not cooperate with B, A is guilty only of attempt to murder. Attempt to murder, because it is here B is guilty of murder. As A did not cooperate with B, A is guilty only. He had attempted in past, when he was service, he was attempting to cause death of Z. That was an attempt to cause murder. But here B is guilty of murder. Now, Section 38, persons concerned in criminal act may be guilty of different offences. What it says? Where several persons are engaged or concerned in the commission of a criminal act. Several persons are concerned or engaged in committing a criminal act. That doesn't mean all of them will be punished for the same offense. No. What it says? Where several persons are engaged or concerned in the commission of a criminal act, they may be guilty of different offences by means of that act. They may be guilty of different offences. What? Illustration. A attacks Z under such circumstances of grave provocation that his killing of Z would be only culpable homicide, not amount to murder. A attacked Z under such circumstances that if he will die, he will be guilty of sudden provocation, he will be guilty of culpable, not amount to murder. B having ill will towards Z. B another person having ill will towards Z and intending to kill him and not having been subject to provocation. There was no provocation to B. Assist A in killing Z. Assisted A in killing Z. Here, though A and B are both engaged in causing death, B is guilty of murder. Because why? So that is, they might be guilty, concerned in commission of a criminal. B is concerned in committing that offense in separately, different offense. So here, A is liable for the offense culpable and not amount to murder, whereas B is liable for committing the offense of murder. Because intention is here, though A and B are both engaged in causing their death, B is guilty of murder and A is guilty only of culpable homicide. Because there was grave and sudden provocation. Now section 39, it is very important section, voluntarily. What is voluntarily? Intentionally. A person is said to cause an effect voluntarily when he causes it by means whereby he intended to cause. By means he intended to cause it. Here intention. Suppose voluntarily causing death. Suppose there is an accident, the person dies. Because there is no voluntary, it is not a voluntary causing death of somebody. Because a person is said to cause an effect voluntarily when he causes it by means whereby he intended to cause it. That means with intention, he did some act, thereby he did that act voluntarily. Or by means which at the time of employing those means, at the time of he employed those means, he knew or had reason to believe to be likely to cause it. This illustration will make you clear. A sets fire by night to an inhabited house in a large town. There is a large town, there is a basti. A set fire to one of the house for the purpose of facilitating a robbery. That his intention was to facilitate the commission of the offense of robbery, and thus causes the death of a person. Thus he caused the death of a person. Here A may not have intended to cause death. Here may not have intended to cause death. What was his intention? To facilitate the commission of robbery, and may even be sorry that death has been caused. A may be sorry or repent. He may repent for the death, but yet if he knew that he was likely to cause death, he had knowledge that there is likely to causing death of person because people are living in that residential house. He has caused death voluntarily. That is, what is offense? Sometimes you say a question is what is offense? You may say act or omission punishable by law is an offense, but here in this criminal procedure code there is offense has been defined, except in the chapters and sections mentioned in clauses 2 and 3 of this section. In clauses 2 and 3, except the chapters and sections mentioned in clause 2 and 3 of this section. In this section, some chapters have been excluded. 2 and 3, clauses 2 and 3 of this section, the word offense denotes a thing made punishable by this code. If question is put, what is an offense? A thing punishable by the Indian Penal Code, except the offenses, provided in the chapter and sections in the subsequent paragraphs. What are those? In chapter IV, chapter VA, and in the following sections, namely section 64, 65, 66, 67, 71, 109, 110, 112, 114, 115, 116, 17, that is 330. And for the word offense denote a thing punishable under this code or under any special or local law as hereinafter defined. That is, in chapter in the following sections, namely that the word offense denotes a thing punishable under this code or under special or local law as the hereinafter defined. And in section 141, 176, 177, 201, 202, 212, 216, and 411, the word offense has the same meaning when the thing punishable under the special or local law is punishable under such law with imprisonment for a term of 6 months or upwards, whether with or without. And in sections 141, the word offense has the same meaning when the things punishable under the special or local law is punishable under such law with imprisonment for a term of 6 months or upwards. That is, committing an unlawful assembly. That is, if an offense is punishable with imprisonment for a term of 6 months. Now, special law. What is special law? Usually Indian Penal Code, the general criminal law of our country. But the special law is law applicable to a particular subject. So for forest matters, there is a special law. So narcotic drugs matters, there is a special law. Special law is that law which is applicable to a particular subject. What is local law? A local law is a law applicable to a particular part of India. Suppose for Odisha, for Assam, if a particular law is applicable, then that is called local law. Legally bound to do. This illegal means what? What it says? The word illegal is applicable to everything which is an offense. Not only offense, illegal is applicable to everything which is an offense or which is prohibited by law. Illegal which is prohibited by law or which furnishes ground for civil action. Even which furnishes ground. Illegal means what? Which everything which is an offense, that is illegal. Then everything which is prohibited by law, that is illegal. Everything for which furnishes a ground for civil action, and that is illegal. And a person is said to, if somebody is what is illegal? Illegal means what? Applicable to everything which is an offense. Illegal means anything which is an offense or which is prohibited by law, anything which furnishes ground for a civil action. That is called illegal. And legally bound to do means, and a person is said to be legally bound to do whatever it is illegal in him to omit. If he omits, that will be illegal. A person is legally bound to do whatever whatever it is illegal in him to omit. If he omits to do, that will be illegal. So in such case, that will be treated as legally bound to. What is injury? Injury doesn't mean only physical injury. Injury means any harm to any person, either in mind, body, reputation, or property. That is injury. So here injury, the word injury denotes any harm, whatever illegally caused. That is illegally, some illegally. What is illegally caused? Illegal, which is an offense, which is prohibited by law, that is illegal. So the word injury or which gives that is grounds for civil action, that will also be, even that is illegal. What it says? That is illegal. Injury, the word injury denotes any harm, whatever illegally caused to any person. Any person how? In body, mind, reputation or property. Body, mind, reputation, property. What is harm? Life, the word life denotes the life of a human being unless the contrary appears from the context. If any contrary is there, unless so long nothing is there against it, the life means a human life. Death also, the death is also human life, unless the contrary appears in that context. That has been defined. The word death it denotes the death of a human being, unless the contrary appears from the context. Animal. Animal means the word animal denotes any living creature other than a human being. Suppose in this animal, the bee will also be treated as an animal. Why? It is any living creature other than human being. That is animal. So here, vessel. The word vessel denotes anything made for the conveyance by water of human being or property. Anything which is made for conveyance of human being or property, what? On water. What is that? Vessel. The word vessel denotes anything made for the conveyance by water of human being or property. So now, year and month, wherever the word year or the word month is used, it is to be understood that the year or the month is to be reckoned according to the British calendar. Whenever it is year or month, so that is to be recorded, that is year and month, wherever the word year or the word month is used, it is to be understood that the year or the month is to be reckoned according to the British calendar. Now, section. The word section denotes one of those portion of a chapter, one of those portion of a chapter of this code, which are distinguished by prefixed numeral figure, like 46, 47. These are sections. The word section denotes, what is section has been defined. The word section denotes one of those portions of a chapter which is distinguished by prefixing numerical figure. An oath. The word oath includes a solemn affirmation substituted by law for an oath. So solemn affirmation, that is substituted by law of honor and any declaration required or authorized by law to be made before a public servant. Any declaration which is required by law to be made before a public servant, that is also to be treated as oath or to be used for the purpose of proof. Any declaration which is used made to be before for the purpose of proof, whether in a court of justice or not, that will be treated as oath. What is good faith? Nothing is said to be done or believed in good faith, which is done or believed without due care and attention. Which is done or believed. Nothing is said to be done or believed in good faith if it is not done with due care and attention. What is said? Nothing is said to be done or believed in good faith, which is done or believed without due care and attention. If an act is done without due care, or something is believed without what? And this due care and attention, then that will be treated as not in good faith. So what it says, nothing is said to be done or believed in good faith, which is done or believed without due care and attention. So that is good faith. So now, good faith, the expression good faith is criminal jurisprudence has a definite connotation. Its important is totally different from saying that the person concerned has honestly believed. Honestly believed, no. Nothing is said to be done in good faith if it is not without due care and if that was not believed without due care and on harbor. Harbor means except in section 157 and in section 130. Harbor by husband to wife or wife to husband. What it says? Except in section 157 and in section 130, in the case which is the harbor is given by the wife or husband, if the husband of the person harbor, the word harbor includes, so except section 157 and 130, if the harbor is any son made by the wife to the husband or husband to the wife, given by the wife or husband of the person harbor. If the person harbor, the word harbor includes the supplying a person with shelter, food, drink, money, clothes, arm, ammunition, or means of conveyance, or the assisting a person by any means, whether of the same kind as those enumerated in this section or not, to evade apprehension. Suppose somebody committed murder, or one of your friend committed murder. He came to your house. Please give your motorcycle so that I can go away. So if you give your motorcycle for supplying him the conveyance, for that is also in harbor, except the harbor made by the husband to the wife or wife to the husband. As in section 157 and 130, harbor means harbor includes the supplying a person with shelter. Even food is given, drink is given, money, clothes, arms, ammunition, or means of conveyance, or the assisting person by any means, whether of the same kind as those enumerated in this section. In this section, what are enumerated? That is food, shelter, money, clothes, arms, ammunition, means of conveyance. Those enumerated in this section are not to evade apprehension. Suppose somebody gives food, somebody gives drinks of somebody, but the purpose is not that thereby he will evade apprehension. So that will not be treated as what? Harbor. But a person knows that police is searching for a man. He gives him food. He gives him shelter. That will be treated as harbor. So this is section 52A. Now one section is to know section 53, what is punishment. The punishment to which offender are liable under the provisions of this code. What punishment a person is liable? That is either death, imprisonment for life, fourth imprisonment which is of two description, namely rigorous, that is with hard labor, simple, fifthly forfeiture of property, sixthly fine. Now, whether forfeiture of property is a punishment. Yes, that is fifth clause says forfeiture of property. Section 53 says forfeiture of property is a punishment. What it provides? Section 53 provides punishment. The punishment to which offender are liable under the provision of this code. The punishment for which a person is liable under the Indian Penal Code is first offense either death, imprisonment for life, then imprisonment which is of two description. Imprisonment which is of two description. That is rigorous, that is with hard labor and civil. That is imprisonment, death, imprisonment, life. Again imprisonment. Imprisonment which is of two descriptions, namely rigorous imprisonment and simple imprisonment. Then forfeiture of property and sixthly fine. This is the punishment prescribed. Punishment for which a person, which an offender is liable under the Indian Penal Code. Let us conclude. In the next class, we'll try to discuss other provisions. Thank you all.